I'm a 28-year-old guy, and for the sake of simplicity, I tell everyone I'm a bartender. It's what's on my tax forms, and it stops my family from asking too many questions. My dad's a big-shot corporate type, and he's always seen my job as a massive disappointment. My sister is just like him, and she married a guy who seemed like the perfect fit for their world. So, last week, we had a family dinner to celebrate my sister's new marriage. The moment I walked in, I could feel the disapproval. My dad was holding a glass of scotch and announced my arrival to the room. "Look who decided to show up," he said, his voice full of sarcasm. "Still slinging drinks for a living?" I just smiled and said, "It pays the bills, Dad." "He's just a bartender," he scoffed at my sister's new husband. "Don't count on him for your retirement fund." My sister gave me a quick, awkward hug and told my dad to be nice. Then she introduced me to her husband, a tall guy with a fake smile. "Good to finally meet you," he said, shaking my hand. "I've heard a lot about you." "Same here," I replied. As we shook hands, I saw a flicker of recognition in his eyes. He pulled his hand away a little too fast, but I brushed it off his nerves. Dinner was as boring as I expected, with everyone talking about stocks and business. I stayed quiet, feeling like I was on display. The whole time, I noticed my new brother-in-law staring at me and typing on his phone. My mom, trying to be nice, asked me about work. "Any interesting stories from a bar?" Before I could answer, my brother-in-law cleared his throat. He looked pale, like he'd just seen a ghost. "I just realized something," he stammered, looking at me. "Your last name? I didn't put together until now." My dad rolled his eyes. "Yeah, it's a family curse." Ignoring him, my brother-in-law held up his phone. "You're the founder of Alchemist Innovations, right?" The room went silent. My dad froze with his wine glass halfway to his lips. My mom's smile disappeared, and my sister looked completely lost. Alchemist Innovations is my company. I started it 5 years ago with some college buddies, and it's a tech firm that's been doing incredibly well. I used my bartending money to get it off the ground, and I never told my family because I didn't want their opinions or their money. The company is now worth millions, and we just finished a hiring spree. "What did you say?" My dad asked, his voice low. My brother-in-law swallowed hard. "He's the CEO. I just accepted a job there as a senior project manager. I start on Monday." Dead silence. My dad stared at me in disbelief, and my sister's jaw dropped. Then my brother-in-law's shock turned into excitement. He grinned, walked over, and slapped me on the back. "This is amazing," he boomed. "Family connections. I guess I can skip the whole probationary period. Right, boss?" I looked at him, my face unreadable. "You start Monday. You'll report to the director of operations, and there are no special favors." His smile vanished. "Oh, right. Of course. Just a joke." My sister finally spoke up. "You own a multi-million-dollar company and never told us? You let us think you were just a bartender." "It never came up," I said calmly. "Never came up?" my dad yelled. "We've been paying your car insurance." "And I appreciate it," I said. "I'll write you a check." The dinner turned into an interrogation. My brother-in-law pulled up a chair next to me and whispered, "Look, I get it. You want to keep things professional. But I'm family now. The senior project manager job is great, but I saw the VP of development role is still open. Just give me the word, and we can make it happen." I couldn't believe his nerve. He hadn't worked a single day and was already asking for a promotion he wasn't qualified for. That position has over 200 applicants with years of experience. I said flatly, "You were hired for the job you applied for, and that's it." My sister overheard and lost it. "What's wrong with you? He's your family. This is a huge opportunity for us." "Us?" I asked. I didn't know my company was a family business. The rest of the dinner was a disaster. My dad was mad I'd hidden my success. My sister was furious I wasn't promoting her husband, and my brother-in-law kept talking about synergy and family loyalty. Finally, I had enough. I stood up and said, "I built my company to get away from this kind of entitlement. My brother-in-law will be treated like any other employee. If he does well, he'll be rewarded. If not, he'll be fired. End of story." I walked out, ignoring the flood of angry calls and texts from my family. The war had just begun. The following week was a nightmare. My brother-in-law acted like he owned the place, telling everyone he was the CEO's brother-in-law and couldn't be touched. He pushed his work onto others, stole their ideas, and constantly tried to get meetings with me to pitch his terrible ideas. My director of operations was keeping a detailed record of everything. Meanwhile, my family was relentless. My sister called me every day, crying and yelling about how I was ruining her marriage. My dad even showed up at my office without an appointment and had to be escorted out by security. The entitlement was off the charts. They really thought my company was theirs for the taking. My brother-in-law's behavior at work got worse. He tried to access confidential files and steal clients, getting a formal warning from HR each time. The final straw was when he tried to frame a junior engineer for stealing an algorithm. Our IT department easily proved he was lying, and I knew I had to do something. Firing him wasn't enough. He and my family needed to learn a lesson. I hired a private investigator to look into his past, and what they found was exactly what I needed. He'd been fired from his last job for selling company secrets to a competitor. He'd signed an NDA that prevented him from working for a competitor, which my company was. I had everything I needed to not just fire him, but to completely destroy the life he and my sister had built. I agreed to another family dinner, this time at my house. They'd never been there before, and they were shocked to see my modern home overlooking the city. My brother-in-law started by trying to make peace. "Look, I know I was a bit much," he said with a fake smile. "I'm happy to stay in my current role and prove myself." My sister chimed in. "See? He's trying. Why are you being so difficult?" I let them talk, and then I dropped a manila envelope on the coffee table. As of 2 hours ago, I said calmly, "He's no longer an employee. He was fired for cause." My sister threatened to sue, but I was ready. "He can try, but it'll be hard with all the evidence of him stealing intellectual property and falsifying documents." My brother-in-law's face went pale. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" I said, pulling out a sworn affidavit from his former boss detailing how he was fired for corporate espionage. "I also spoke with their CEO this morning. They're suing you for breach of contract, and my lawyers are filing a suit for fraudulent misrepresentation." My sister started sobbing, and my brother-in-law just sat there in shock. "He's a criminal," I said to my mother, "and you all enabled him. You defended his greed and attacked me for not giving in." I stood up and opened the door. "Get out of my house." The aftermath was brutal for them. The lawsuits bankrupted my brother-in-law, and my sister divorced him a year later. I haven't spoken to my parents since. They tried to apologize, but they still think I overreacted. Sometimes you have to cut out the poison to save yourself. It's painful, but it's necessary. So, if you like stories about entitled people getting what's coming to them, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, because my family's drama never seems to end.